Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
go ahead and call the meeting to order. It is 6:35. Roll call. Jessica's gone, and Brian. Attest to publication.
I saw it posted.
Thank you. Approval of the agenda.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Who seconded? Tina. Motion made by Shelley, seconded by Tina to approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Joni, District Mission, Vision, and Values, and Collective Commitment.
Bangor School District Mission, Vision, and Values. Mission, Bangor Pride, a small school building big futures. Vision, an innovative small school community committed to building pathways to excellence and belonging for all. Values, student-centered, safety, opportunities for all, small class sizes, fiscally sustainable, foster community, continuous improvement, and collaboration. The School District of Bangor Board of Education Collective Commitments. As a member of the Bangor School Board, I will be an active listener who is open-minded, respectful, and inquisitive. Together with one collective voice, we are committed to forward thinking while strategically prioritizing for our students, staff, and community now and into the future.
Thank you, Joni. Public comment? Minutes from January 14th, 2026.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Joni, seconded by Tina. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Student report, we don't have one tonight. 2026 Delegate Assembly actions.
I put that on there just in your report. If you guys didn't see that from WASBA, that is the action taken by your professional organization, the school board's professional organization, representatives from each district getting together. I'm sure not going to go through it all. It is there was something fairly historical in the amount of people that supported the resolution to basically charge the state government with making good on their promise of special ed funding. That was a number that they put and gave a percentage increase, but when we look at actual cost, the number that they give doesn't meet the percentage that they promised. So there's a lot of talk of some sufficient. So instead of, if they're going to say a percentage, then it needs to be that percentage, whatever that number becomes, not just a number that they gave. Just making sure that they are following through on the percentages that they promised. So it was very much considered a historic action by from across the state to have that much support from all school boards. And I know that Madison has heard that, and I'll talk about that later on what they're trying to do in that area.
Thank you, Dr. Brackup. PRC Committee.
Yeah, we'll have a meeting coming up. I'm meeting with our rep on Monday, going through some policy. One of the policies, I don't know if we'll have it ready, but we'll probably talk about it a little bit. I've been approached on adding an additional sport to the school district and had a really great conversation with WIAA the other day. And part of the WIA's first recommendation to me is you need a policy that says how to consider those so that you consider all equally. I reached out to Neola right away. They've got a couple sample policies. We'll have something to talk about. I don't expect it to get perfect in one shot at it, but I think it's worth, because it's not the first time I've been asked a question, at least being able to identify what's the process the board goes through to consider it versus me just saying, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen right now, because I don't think that's fair to the people who asked that question. So I'm looking forward to that discussion, and I'll share that with the PRC, and then the PRC can share it out here. So that's coming up. I'll be scheduling the meeting with them.
Thank you. District financials, financial documents. Any questions?
I had one question regarding the financials, so I'll give. I always try to give those to you. There was a question on the reimbursements for the wellness program. It was a little bit larger. It was a $50 instead of $40. We used to do 4 times a year for $40. We changed that this year to twice a year for $50, and we changed it to be that it had to be for an action you took, or a membership, or an entry fee for a race or something like that, versus buying things for your wellness. For example, tennis shoes that you use to walk. You need to enter a walk, and we'll pay for that. So we changed that up a little bit just to be a little bit more cost effective, but yet still support the wellness initiatives and getting people moving and active and all of those types of things. So that was the only question. If there's no other questions on the financials, we'd look for approval.
I'll make a motion to approve the financials as presented.
I'll second.
Motion by Joni, seconded by Lisa. Any questions or further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, David, you can continue.
Yeah, informational, just on our defeasance planning. So just giving everybody the same information. As you all know, when we put the debt in place for the capital referendum, we intentionally built in a balloon payment that's about double what the rest of the payments are throughout the life of the loan, that will come due in 2033, which really isn't that far away. And the initial instinct was, if we did nothing else, we would refinance that amount at that point in time and push it into 2044, and just kind of continue to carry that balance. Because we've been able to slightly over levy the last couple years, and put that money away for that payment, we're going to be able to knock that payment down significantly through defeasance, which means we're going to spend the money this year. It's going to go into an account and sit there, and when that comes due, it will be paid. The good thing about that is it will avoid about $200,000 in interest costs, because we're putting that money forward now, and because we're spending it this year instead of waiting till 2044, we will be aided on that from the state. So we'll receive about $240,000 in aid next year because we're spending that money this year. So we've planned for this. This has been part of the strategy of hopefully we can avoid pushing that way into 2044. Those calculations of $200,000, $240,000 don't take into the potential savings of, if we pushed it all the way to 2044, how much more interest would accrue in that period of time. So this is a real positive for us, and part of that sound financial planning that we talk about, especially every year in October at budget meeting time. So at this point in time, letting you guys know that I'm engaging with Baird and Bond Council. We will look to have that ready for board approval at our June meeting, and then we'll make the payment before the end of June, and positioning us to get aided on it this year and get that taken care of. So just a little information on that. Any questions on the defeasance process? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving to administrative reports. Mr. Chaplin.
Nothing.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Luke.
Good evening. So a few things, there wasn't anything huge to report, so I'm just going to talk about a few of our day-to-day things that happen. First of all, we did have a meeting. I guess this isn't really day-to-day, but we have the new curriculum, the Into Reading curriculum. And so with that, there are different stages, and the most recent stage we hit in that, in the rollout of that curriculum is a visit from an HMH representative, and she came in just to observe the curriculum in use. She went into every classroom and met with every PLC to see how we're doing, and also it gave, more than anything, it gave the teachers an opportunity to ask her questions. As whenever you go through a new curriculum, and in the first year especially, there are some growing pains, and so they had an opportunity to ask her questions. And at the end of the day, the end of the day on Wednesday, I met with her, and we she gave us a summary, and she said, you're doing the curriculum and you're doing it well. Doesn't mean that there are always things to work on, and we'll continue to work on those things. And my plan is towards the end of this school year, I'm going to put together a committee to look at where have we been with this curriculum, and more importantly, how are we going to use that information to determine where we're headed, where there might be some vertical gaps between the grade levels, and how we can fill those gaps so that the curriculum is even more fluid next year. PBIS assembly last week. This is more of a, not daily, but a monthly. The word of the month this month is kindness. So I challenged all of our students to give one compliment to one person each and every day, and I want them to be a different person every day. So it's not just their best friend every day, but they hit a different person every day. So I was just talking with one of the teachers this week, today rather, and now my next challenge for myself is how do I hold them accountable for that? So I'm talking to a few teachers and see how we can follow up with it. A few things that are coming up on the schedule. We're celebrating this week Valentine's Day, so that'll be pretty exciting. Here at the elementary, that's a pretty big deal, even bigger than Christmas. So I've already started getting my gifts. I had a bag that I was given today, and part of that was my new bracelet. So,
Nice.
So I'm excited for Valentine's Day celebration. Then we have the 100th day celebration on Friday as well. And then next week on the 19th, we're celebrating the Global School Play Day. So we've had some teachers that have been putting a lot of time and energy into planning that day. So I'm excited for that. We're going to have 3rd to 5th grade. We'll be going up to the experimental forest, the Cooley Experimental Forest, and doing some hiking and other activities up there. And the rest of the 4K through 2nd graders will be here on campus, participating in different play activities outside and inside. So should be a great day. Any questions for me on any of that or anything else?
Thank you,
All right,
Mr.
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Luke. Okay, Mr. Wolpat, do you have his?
Yeah, I've got a couple notes. I can't do Mr. Wolpat justice.
So you
but-
can do Mr. Wolpat and then yourself.
Okay, that sounds great. So the sportsmanship, the character leadership sportsmanship incentive is something that the entire staff here has been really focused on and building towards. We have contracted with Mark Horbinski from 180 to come in end of this year and in the fall, come in for 4 2-hour sessions with students, 1-hour program with our coaching staff, and 1-hour program with our fall parents meeting, and something that the group has really worked at. I know they looked into a lot of different options for this, and the response to we need to really make sure that our culture and our character and our sportsmanship around athletics are at the level that we expect, and it's just a good reminder for everybody involved with our programs of the expectations that we have. State testing preparations are on their way. There are a number of days coming up where they'll be doing some practice sessions and testing sessions just to get ready for the testing. Sophomores will test Tuesday, March 17th. The freshmen, March 24th. The sophomore pre-ACT is March 26th. And I'm missing the ACT itself. April 10th, it looks like. No, is that right, Josh? March 10th, thank you. So that is coming up. The ECCP College Credit Program, you can click on that if you want, if you're online. Those are kind of the process that we use to put kids into those classes at the college level. It has been a conversation the entire time I've been here, prioritizing our school classes first If at all possible, they take our class, and if not possible, then they may take a college class. So Hannah and Brian and the team have been working really hard on that language to define that process for defining those. We want to give those kids those opportunities, but we also want to be responsible and have the kids in the classes that we're offering here when it's possible too. So they've put some really good work into that and have shared that with you. And the Wisconsin Improvement Program participation. So this is an initiative that Brian was able to find. We've been dinged for a number of years because we don't offer Spanish at the 7th grade level. So we just don't have the sections, don't have the ability to get the schedules and everything to go with one Spanish teacher. We also continue to struggle to meet all of the needs of some of our English language learners in the building and in the district. So with this program, we have expressed interest to La Crosse. We haven't agreed to anything yet. That if they have people that are coming out in those multilingual programs, they can do basically their student teaching or their internship with us. And the goal would be that we would have one intern during first semester and one intern during second semester. The cost is about $4,500 for the district to have them here for a semester. And then we could offer that 7th grade Spanish class, and then we would have some support for our English language learners as well. So it's a pretty cost-effective way to address those issues without having another full FTE or trying to find a part-time person. And part of what Brian has really been working with is if we commit to this, we want a commitment from the university that you're going to put somebody there so that we can plan for it. And what they're trying to work on right now is if La Crosse didn't have somebody for a semester, then can we get somebody from another university to come in and fill that during that semester? So it's not a done deal, but it's something we've put a lot of work into. Brian has put a lot of work into, and I think if we can get that going, it would be really great for our kids. So that was the information on that. Again, if you got questions on that, he can give you a whole lot better explanation of what's going on there. As far as my report, the 4K, I shared a little bit with the board already, but so at some point in time, as we look at the communities around us, we need to start having a conversation about having 4K 5 days a week instead of our current 4 full days, 4 days a week. And we just wanted to say we need to start that conversation. Now is the time to consider that. So we've had some initial planning sessions, and they go back to Mike and I having some of those sessions on what would this look like, what would it take. Dave and I have talked, but what we need to do at this point in time is really engage our staff in that conversation and see what we can do to make that happen. What would it look like for our building? I think that's the future of where 4K is headed, and if we can be proactive and we can choose how we're going to implement it and do it, I'd rather do that than have it done to us. So just wanted to make the board aware that we're having those conversations. So if you're talking to people in the community about 4K and you're hearing interest about that, let us know, and direct them to us, and we can talk with them and kind of see how that plays out. Interviews are set for B&G supervisor position. Interviews will take place next Monday, the 23rd, at least the first round, and we'll go from there. So that process is moving along. And I'd shared just briefly, the one thing, I was on a meeting today with my professional organization, and we were hearing from what's going on in Madison. There's 8 days left before they gavel out from this session. There is a commitment from both sides of the aisle right now to come together on some of the property tax relief and getting that special ed numbers back to what they promised when they created the budget. They're looking at about a $2.5 billion surplus in the budget right now, and I know Governor Evers' proposal would direct about 1.2 million of that, or 1.2 billion of that towards schools over the biennium of the budget. So not taking all of it, but putting it towards the resources for our schools and our communities. We've talked a little bit, I shared the article last month, the impact on communities with the 325 per pupil coming through, that all went to communities. So the effort is to get more of that surplus to come in and backfill that, so we can take some of that burden back off the communities and have it actually come from the state level. So there's good traction there. There's been a lot of advocacy going on around that. Like I said, your professional organization, WASBA, the pressure they put on through the delegate assembly is all helping in that conversation. So that's my report.
Any questions for Dr. Braca? All right. So, removal of items from the consent agenda. Consent agenda items include current openings, Schedule C changes, you can see those listed. Overnight field trip request, state indoor track, there's an attachment that goes through the itinerary. Maternity leave, I think that's it. Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain, Julie.
What?
I'll abstain.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that. Shelley will abstain. So all in favor?
Aye.
Shelley's abstaining. Any opposition? Motion carried. Thank you. All right. I ask for adjournment.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Joni, seconded by Shelley to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.